Subscribe, like, and share Cosmo Academia. Delta Flight 4819, a routine journey from Atlanta to Toronto, turned into a nightmare on February 18, 2025. The CRJ-900 aircraft, carrying 76 passengers and 4 crew members, was scheduled to land at Toronto Pearson International Airport. As the plane approached the runway, it was evident that the weather conditions were treacherous. Little did anyone know that the events about to unfold would turn this ordinary flight into a story of survival against incredible odds. The excitement of reaching their destination soon turned into apprehension as the plane entered a zone of turbulence. The captain's voice boomed over the intercom, urging the passengers to fasten their seatbelts and prepare for a bumpy descent. Toronto had been experiencing heavy snowfall for the past few days, and the airport was struggling to keep up with the snow removal operations. As the plane prepared to touch down, the crosswinds intensified, buffeting the aircraft violently. The impact was harder than usual, followed by a sickening screeching sound and violent shaking. Delta Flight 4819 was in trouble. Toronto Pearson International Airport was in the throes of winter's fury. The city had been blanketed in snow for days, a relentless barrage that showed no signs of abating. The airport, a hub of constant activity, struggled to keep pace with the relentless snowfall. Snowplows worked tirelessly, their flashing lights cutting through the swirling snow, but the sheer volume of precipitation seemed insurmountable. Visibility was severely reduced, a curtain of white obscuring the horizon and making it treacherous for approaching aircraft. Air traffic controllers, their voices calm amidst the mounting pressure, guided incoming flights with precision. The wind, howling like a banshee, was the most significant challenge. Gusts of up to 38 to 40 miles per hour buffeted the airport, creating dangerous crosswinds that made landing a perilous maneuver. Subscribe, like, and share Cosmo Academia. The initial impact with the runway was just the beginning of the ordeal for the passengers and crew of Delta Flight 4819. As the plane attempted to regain its balance, the rear landing gear, unable to withstand the force of the impact and the treacherous crosswinds, gave way. Sparks showered the tarmac as metal scraped against concrete, illuminating the snow-covered landscape. Panic surged through the cabin as the plane, now unstable and uncontrollable, veered sharply to the right. Passengers, thrown violently against their seats and the overhead compartments, cried out in fear and confusion. The sickening sound of metal groaning under immense stress filled the air, a symphony of chaos and impending disaster. The right wing, unable to bear the brunt of the unbalanced weight and the force of the impact, snapped off. The plane, now resembling a wounded bird, tilted precariously, its fate hanging in the balance. It skidded across the snow-covered tarmac, the sound of crunching metal a horrifying counterpoint to the terrified screams within. In the aftermath of the crash, as the dust settled and the initial shock subsided, a remarkable truth emerged. All 80 souls on board Delta Flight 4819 had survived. The severity of the crash, the violence of the impact, made this nothing short of a miracle. While luck undoubtedly played a part, it was the aircraft's clever design, a testament to human ingenuity, that deserved a significant portion of the credit. Among these life-saving features, the 16G seats stood out, their role in mitigating injuries and saving lives undeniable. Aircraft seats are not mere pieces of furniture. They are meticulously engineered safety devices designed to withstand incredible forces. The 16G seats equipped on the CRJ-900, the model involved in the Delta Flight 4819 crash, are a prime example of this life-saving engineering. The 16G refers to the seat's ability to withstand forces up to 16 times the force of gravity, far exceeding the forces experienced in a typical crash. These seats are built around a robust internal frame, typically constructed from high-strength steel or advanced alloys. The robust 16G seats, anchored firmly to the floor, acted as shock absorbers, protecting the passengers' spines and necks from potentially fatal injuries. Subscribe, like, and share Cosmo Academia. The sight of an aircraft losing its wing during a crash is enough to send shivers down the spine. However, in the case of Delta Flight 4819, the wing detachment, while terrifying, played a crucial role in preventing a far greater tragedy. Modern aircraft are designed with a concept called design-to-fail points. These are strategically placed sections of the aircraft that are engineered to break off or deform in a controlled manner during a crash. The logic is simple. It's better for a non-essential part of the plane to break off than to have the entire structure compromised. The wings of an aircraft are prime examples of design-to-fail points. They are attached to the fuselage with massive bolts and reinforced structures, designed to withstand incredible forces during normal flight. However, in a high-impact crash, These attachments are designed to give way before the force can transfer to the passenger cabin. The wing, designed to break away under such extreme stress, absorbed a significant portion of this force, preventing it from being transferred to the passenger cabin. The horror of a plane crash is often compounded by the terrifying prospect of fire. Aviation fuel, highly flammable and capable of igniting with explosive force, is a constant threat in any crash scenario. In the case of Delta Flight 4819, while the crash was undoubtedly terrifying, the rapid spread of fire was prevented, thanks in part to the clever use of fire-resistant materials throughout the aircraft's construction. From the early days of aviation, designers have grappled with the challenge of making aircraft more fire-resistant. Modern aircraft, like the CRJ-900 involved in the Delta Flight 4819 crash, incorporate a wide array of fire-resistant materials in their construction. These materials are designed to either resist ignition in the first place or to self-extinguish, preventing the spread of flames. One of the most commonly used materials is a special type of aluminum alloy that forms a protective oxide layer when exposed to heat, effectively slowing down the rate of combustion. The detached wing, now separated from the main fuel tanks, minimize the risk of a catastrophic fuel-fed inferno. The fire-resistant materials used in the construction of the passenger cabin acted as a barrier, preventing the flames from spreading rapidly and engulfing the entire aircraft. Subscribe, like, and share Cosmo Academia. In the chaotic aftermath of Delta Flight 4819's crash landing, amidst the twisted metal, flashing lights, and the disorienting reality of being trapped inside an overturned aircraft, survival instincts kicked in. Every second counted, and the ability to evacuate quickly and efficiently was paramount. Fortunately, the aircraft's designers had anticipated such a scenario, incorporating strategically placed emergency exits and a well-rehearsed evacuation plan, factors that would prove crucial in getting everyone out alive. Emergency exits on an aircraft are not placed randomly. They are strategically positioned to provide multiple escape routes, considering various crash scenarios. The flight attendants on Delta Flight 4819, their training kicking in amidst the chaos, guided passengers towards the available exits. The fact that the plane had come to rest upside down presented a unique challenge, but the strategic placement of exits, including those on what was now the top of the fuselage, provided crucial escape routes. In the face of unimaginable adversity, the human spirit has an uncanny ability to shine through. The crash of Delta Flight 4819 was not just a story of clever engineering and fortunate circumstances. It was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, the power of collective action, and the unwavering instinct to help others in need. As the initial shock subsided and the realization of the situation sunk in, a sense of urgency mixed with a strange calmness washed over the survivors. They were alive, but they were trapped inside a mangled aircraft, the threat of fire and further injury looming large. Passengers, many injured, disoriented, and struggling to comprehend the magnitude of what had just transpired, reached out to help one another. Strangers became saviors, their shared experience forging an unbreakable bond. The elderly were assisted, children were comforted, and the injured were carried towards safety, their well-being prioritized over personal fear. The flight attendants, their training put to the ultimate test, were the epitome of calm amidst the chaos. The immediate aftermath of the crash saw a flurry of activity as emergency responders, alerted by the airport's control tower and witnesses on the ground, raced to the scene. Fire trucks, their sirens wailing, doused the smoldering wreckage with fire-retardant foam, while paramedics, their faces grim but determined, tended to the injured. The airport, usually a hub of bustling activity, fell silent, a somber reminder of the fragility of life and the capricious nature of fate. News of the crash spread like wildfire, sending shockwaves across the world. Families of those on board Delta Flight 4819 anxiously awaited news, their hopes clinging to the thin thread of survival. Social media platforms were flooded with messages of concern, prayers for the injured, and expressions of gratitude for the miraculous outcome. The investigation into the cause of the crash began immediately, a complex and meticulous process involving multiple agencies. The aircraft's black boxes, those indestructible repositories of flight data and cockpit audio, were recovered and meticulously analyzed to piece together the events that led to the crash. If you found this video insightful, please subscribe, like, and share Cosmo Academia for more in-depth content.